Hi, fourth grade. I am here to start teaching the next lesson in our math module, but I wanted you to see my face before I just jumped right into the lesson. I thought maybe, that would be nicer than just jumping right in. But we're going to be doing lesson 2, and it starts on page 11. So go ahead and get your papers ready while I set up the camera to be on the book. Alrighty. Okay, I think we're good to go. This takes a little finagling to get it exactly where I want it to be. It's kind of has a mind of its own a little bit. No, I don't want it that far away, I guess. There we go, that looks better. Okay, so the last lesson we talked about how every time you go up a place value, you're going to be going up 10 times more, right? It was 10 times as many as, and we also talked about how in our place value chart, each digit in our number is related to one of our place values. So you might have 5,000s, 600s, 110s, 9 1s, correct? And that shows you all that. Those are like the unit pieces, the unit form of the number. Now we're going to read and write numbers. And when we're all done, you are going to be able to read and write 6-digit numbers in standard form, word form, and expanded form. So there are 3 different ways that we are going to be able to write our numbers. Sometimes you will see this as written form. So I just want to point that out to you. Sometimes you'll see something will say, please put this number in written form. Sometimes you'll see it where it wants you to write it in word form. These two are interchangeable. So I just want to give that as a little aside for you so that you know what that means. So in Spark Your Learning, the total area of Texas is 268,596 square miles. This is what we would call word or written form. 268,596 square miles. It is the largest state in the southern U.S. How can you write the total area of Texas in 2 different ways using numbers? So just using numbers. So if this is written in word form, how could we show this in number form or what's called standard form? Well, we could take this number that's written in words and we could write it out like we would see it with the digits and as a number. So I know I need 268,000. Now when I read this number, 268, before I even get to 1,000, I know this is 268. Then when I read the word 1,000, that tells me to put a comma here. Because this, remember in our place value chart, this all is what's called one period. You're going to read that together. 268, just like any other number, you're going to read that 268. Then the comma says to say 1,000. I'm just going to write that here just so you understand that comma tells me to say 1,000. And then I just read the rest of my number. 596. So this is period number 2. So this written as a number, 268,596. This is probably one of the trickiest pieces of place value for 4th graders. You are used to reading basically probably up to a number that big, probably up to about 1,000, right? When you get past that, that's where kids get a little confused and it gets a little muddled. Because this is your 100,000s, a lot of times kids want to say 200,000, 60,000, 8,000. That's not how we say it. We only say 1,000 one time when you get to the comma. So one trick I always try to teach kids is cover up this part of your number. Cover up the everything to the right of the comma. And you're going to say just this number. If I'm looking at just that, I know that says 268, right? So 268, the comma tells me to say 1,596. That's how I say 268,596. That's how I say it and how I write it. Now that's a lot of explanation to just get to writing this as a number, but hopefully it will save you a lot of grief later on. Now we also need to write this in another way. It said to write it in 2 different ways using numbers. Well, another way we could write this in numbers I'm going to show you is what is called expanded form. So this is standard form. And I'm going to show you what expanded form means. Expanded form means I always use my hands to explain this. You're going to stretch out your number. You're going to stretch it out by place value. So I know I have a 2 in the 100,000s place. So I have 2 100,000s in my number, right? Plus, I have 60 thousands in my number. I also have plus 8 thousands in my number. I have 5 hundreds in my number, 90 in my number, which is 9 tens, right? And I have 6 ones, which is a 6. So that's another way to write 268,596 in just numbers. If I were to add all of these up, they would equal this number, wouldn't they? You're just pulling out each place value and giving it its own number. But when they're added all together, this is what they equal. So this is what is called expanded form. Okay? So those are 2 ways we can write a number, and this is the 3rd way we can write a number. Alrighty. So let's go to page 12. The distance through Earth from one side to the other at the equator in miles is shown using our base 10 blocks. This represents what place value? I hope you said the hundreds. These represent what place value? I hope you said the thousands. These represent the ones place value, and these represent the tens place value. So notice they're not in order from our biggest to our smallest or our smallest to our biggest. They're a little mixed up. So I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hundreds. So that means I'm going to put a 9 in my hundreds place. I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thousands. So I'm going to put a 7 in the 1 thousands place. Remember, this thousands goes with the 1,000s, it goes with 10,000s and 100,000s, but we're in the 1,000s place. And this is where we would have a comma, correct? For ones, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. And I have 1, 2 tens. So how can you use what you know about place value to write the number in standard form? Well, if you know the place value of each digit, then you would know how to write the number in place value form, right? Or in standard form. As long as you know which digit is in the greatest place, which digit falls in which place value, you can write your number in standard form. So we're going to I just talked that through instead of writing it out. We're going to move on. So as long as you know place value, as long as you know where each falls and the size of the place value, right? We know that thousands are bigger than hundreds. We know that tens are bigger than ones. We know that hundreds are bigger than tens. Okay? And so on and so forth. So that's how you know how to write your number in standard form, because you know which place value, which one of these is bigger than the others or smaller than the others. So the distance through Earth from one side to the other at the equator in miles is 7,926 miles. And just to get our vocabulary connected or the same, standard form is a way to write numbers by using the digits 0 through 9, with each digit having a place value, right? Each digit has its own place. Each digit goes in a place, and that's how you know what that number is. Because 0 through 9 can be written in any of these places, correct? So it's when you put those digits together that makes your number, and that makes it in standard form. All right, let's step it on out. Okay, the speed of light is, remember how we say our numbers. We say just that first. 186,000, 282. 186,282 miles per second. Write the number in the place value chart. Well, I know I have a 2 in the ones place. I have the digit 8 in the tens place. I have a 2 in the hundreds place. I have a 6 in the 1,000s place. I have an 8 in the 10,000s place. And I have a 1 in the 100,000s place. So we're going to use the place value chart to help us read and write the number in word form. And we're going to use a comma to separate the periods. Remember what I talked about. This is one period. This is the next period. And look at, there's a comma there. So we say this first period, 186. And this part, right, this would be where our comma would be, 186,000, comma. Now I say the second period. Remember, this is our thousands period. This is our ones period. 282. I'm just going to write it under here because I've got too many loopies over here. Whoops. Forgot my H in there. Here I'm trying to teach you and I'm misspelling my words. Sorry about that. So 186,000, comma, 282. The comma is super important because that separates one part of my number from the other part of my number. So that comma is critical in my number. So now we need to write the value of each digit. So the value of the 1 in the hundreds place is 100,000. The value of the 8 in the 10,000s place is 80,000. When they talk about the value, they want to know how much is that number worth or digit worth in that number. So the 6 is worth 6 thousandths. That's the value of the 6 in this number. The value of this 2 is 200. Because notice we have 2 2's in our number. The value of the 8, the next 8 in this number is 80. And the value of the smallest 2 is 2. So it's 2 ones. So we're going to use each of these values to write the number in expanded form. So we have our 100,000 plus our 80,000 plus our 6,000 plus our 200 plus our 80 plus our 2. Remember, expanded form is when I take my number and I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to expand it. I'm taking this number and I'm getting every piece its own part, every piece its own section. So every place value has its own value. And I want to represent that in expanded form. So when we look at our vocabulary in word form, you're writing the numbers by using words. Makes sense, right? Word form with words. Expanded form, you're going to write the numbers by writing the sum of the values of each of the digits. So each digit has its own value, and you're showing that with the addition symbol for each place value. So let's come down here to check for understanding. An article in the local newspaper states that 10,000, remember, right before the comma, I'm going to say this is the number 10, 10,973 cans of food were collected for the community food pantry. How can you write 10,973 in expanded form? Well, remember, expanded form is using the value of each digit to write the number. So we're stretching out this number. So I know I'm going to start in my biggest place value. I have a 1 in the, I hope you're thinking or said out loud, the 10,000s place. So I have 10,000 plus, do I have any thousands? No, there's a 0 there. So I don't have to put anything there. I don't have any. I don't have any thousands, so I don't need to show that. But I do have 9 in the hundreds place. I have a 7 in the tens place. And I have a 3 in the ones place. So I have 10,000 plus 900 plus 70 plus 3. And that is 10,973 in expanded form. Now, number 2, I need to write this number in a different form. So I can choose either one of the other 2 forms that we don't have. I can either do it in standard form or I could do it in written form. I'm going to show you both, but you can choose which one you prefer, or you can write both. I'm all right with that too. So I have a 3 in the 10,000s place. I don't have any thousands, so that means I'm going to have to put a 0 there, right? I don't have 1,000. And then I have my comma. Then I have a 4 in the hundreds place. I have a 5 in the tens place, and do I have any ones? Nope, I have no ones. So if I were to write this in written form or word form, I have 30,000, comma, 450. Hope that's not too small for you to see. Try to zoom it in a little better for you. 30,450. I have a 3 in my 10,000s place. I don't have anything in my thousands place. I have a 4 in my hundreds. I have a 5 in my tens, and I have nothing in my ones. 30,450. All right, so now we're to the part where it's on your own. What my suggestion is to you, and there are 2 ways you can do this. I am going to do this all out. Sorry, my camera's all messed up again. That's what happens when something new. So I'm trying to work with it. The cord's in the way. I'm so sorry. Okay, that looks better. So, what I am going to suggest is there are two different ways you can do this. If you're comfortable and you want to practice this on your own, pause the video right now. Go ahead and pause it and try this on your own. Then come back to the video to check your answers. Or if you still want some help, if you still want to follow along without doing it on your own just yet, then stay with me. Okay? So, two different options for you for this part when we get to the on your own. So number 3, attend to precision. The deepest part of the ocean, the Mariana Trench, is 35,000, there I go saying my number again, right? 35, comma tells me to say 1,000, 462 feet deep. How would you write this number in word form? Oh, there, I just said it. Word form is how you say the number. So I'm going to do it by each period. So I'm going to say 35. My comma tells me to say 1,000, and I have to put a comma. Then the second period, 462. Now, if you don't have enough room to write on this line, you've got space under here that you could write this number as well. 35,462. Okay, write the number in expanded form. So these two numbers need to be written in expanded form. So let's look at our first number, 4,902. So I have a 4 in my thousands place, so I have 4,000. I have a 9 in my hundreds place. I have 900. Do I have anything in my tens place? Nope, so I'm going to leave that one blank. And I have a 2 in my ones place. So 4,000 plus 900 plus 2 is the expanded form of 4,902. Now this is word form, and I need to put this into expanded form. 700,000. So I should have 700,000 plus 400. That's all I've got. Two place values on this number. 700,000 plus 400. Alrighty, number 6. Phosphate is mined from rock minerals to make fertilizer. Florida has the largest known phosphate deposits in the United States. The Florida phosphate industry owns or has rights to about, here I'm going to say my number, 443,210 acres of land. How can you write 443,210 in expanded form and word form? Now, this is tricky because it's a long number and they only gave you this little bit of line. So you just have to be careful. If you're a kid who writes really big, you might want to be a little more careful about how you write it so that way you can fit it. And you do have some space underneath. So first we're going to write it in expanded form. Okay? So I have a 4 in what place value? I hope you said the hundred thousands place. My next 4 is in the 10,000s place. So I have 400,000 plus 40,000 plus 3,000 plus 200 plus 10. And I don't have anything in my ones place, so I'm going to leave that without a number. So that's the expanded form of 443,210. So now I have to write it in word form. I've said this number a couple of times, so hopefully you've picked up on it. 443 And the comma tells me to say 1,000. And then I need a comma, right? 210. So remember, I say it by each group of numbers, by each period. So 443,210. The next directions. Write the number in standard form. Use the place value chart to help you. So we have this written in word form. So we have 70,468. 70,000 is going to look like this, right? 70,000 and then 468. So when I transfer this over, I know I have a 7 in the 10,000s place, but I have a 0 in my 1,000s place. I have a 4 in my hundreds place, 6 in my tens place, and an 8 in my ones place. One thing I wish these place value charts had was a comma right here. I just think that would help. So that's why I keep adding a comma on the place value chart, just so you know. All right, number 8. A cruise is 424,800 seconds long. What is the length of the cruise written in standard form? So standard form is that number form, right? So I'm going to do this by periods. 424,000. 424,000. 800. 800 seconds long. 424,800 seconds long. All right, great job on this lesson. Now what I would like you to do is after this colorful page, there's a black and white page that's for lesson 1.2. And I would like you to complete the front and the back of that sheet for lesson 1.2. And then I would like you to either have someone at home scan it or take pictures of it and send it to me either through email or through the Google Classroom or through my text. Or you could, I know Isabella, your mom, with her working at school, she could bring it to school when she comes into school. And Owen, I'm really appreciating that you've been dropping off your stuff, and I will be sending you home another packet of things next week, so you'll be able to do that. Okay, so you could send it back when you get the next packet of stuff. You could send it back to school after you get that packet and have the envelope. Alrighty, and I am going to be doing the next lesson on the next video, so I will see you soon. Alright, bye.